back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep. Black Clover just dropped a banger revealing Zenon's backstory.
What did he say?
I'm gonna say it. This shit was fire! And as always, I am going to explain everything that we need to know regarding the new devil, as well as the hidden meanings and parallels with what went down in the Dark Triad's backstory. Oh wait, a phone call. Hello?
Paul's D prediction magic is strong. It predicted Zenon's devil, but not the fourth sibling.
Okay.
You suck!
Chapter 305 begins with Yuno asking Langris to buy him 3 minutes because he needs to build up enough mana to compete with Zenon's power. Zenon makes the logical assumption that Langris can't even touch him and begins to go on the offensive, but the narrator starts explaining stuff, and you know what that means, right?
I don't know.
It means the plot will give the good guys some kind of way of winning. The chapter explains that in Zenon's spatial mana domination, no one can use magic except those who have as much magic power as him, meaning the likes of Yuno, because he's loved by mana and all, and of course spatial mages that have mana zone.
Hey yo, what the
Yeah, that's right. Langris has mana zone. The staring contest has finally come to an end where the plot is focusing on them and creating another ass pull.
No. So true.
Come on guys, let's not forget our Dark Triad bingo card, everyone. Oh, what did you have? Remember, I had you're not powerful enough, you're not strong enough, I love that you're getting stronger, I'm enjoying this fight. You guys get Bruh. Zenon spouts the same thing as the other siblings. Langris activates his mana zone, and of course Zenon's attacks have no effect because his spatial magic has always been the kind that destroys stuff. So if he activates a bubble around him filled with that kind of magic, what the hell is Zenon supposed to do?
Shit, I don't even know. Like, I can't even tell you that.
And of course Yuno's all like, see, I told you could do it, you just had to surpass your limits. Langris thinks to himself that ever since he met Yuno, they were always so alike, and that's probably why he didn't like him, because Yuno had everything that Langris lacked, which was a kind heart and leadership who had consideration for innocent lives. He goes on to say that he didn't want to lose to Yuno, and that he thought there was no way he could be surpassed by someone like him. Yuno's strength was something entirely different, something that wasn't selfish or self-indulgent. Rather, it was shared with those around him in the form of motivation to improve and get stronger. This all goes to show that Yuno is a born leader, and it works to keep his and Asta's rivalry alive, because in order to be Wizard King, you must be able to lead a nation and protect them. But again, let's be honest, none of us support Yuno to become Wizard King. That's absolutely blasphemy on this channel. We all back Asta the GOAT.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
If you support Yuno instead of Asta, then, you know, I just have one thing to say.
You weird, buddy. You're weird!
Finally, at the very last moment, Yuno gained a new power called the Spirit of Urus, a bow and arrow made of the same magic that he used to make the Spirit of Zephyr and the Spirit of Boreas. Yuno unlocked another part of his god power, and everything gets handed on the table for the dude for free because he is blessed in everything he does, of course. I mean, why doesn't that happen for a regular guy like me?
This is #1 bullshit.
Spirit of Urus, just like Spirit of Boreas and the Spirit of Zephyr, is one of the 4 wind animoy which make up for the 4 directional winds and seasons. With the latest addition, Urus is the god of the eastern wind as well as being associated with autumn. It's also interesting to note that in Greek mythology, he used to dwell near the palace of the sun god Helios in the far east. In the anime, remember we were told that the sun shined through the skies for the first time on the birth of Yuno? It was considered a blessed day by the entire kingdom. So this is yet another indication that gods and other races exist in Black Clover. However, I don't want to repeat myself, so watch the video being displayed to you right now that keeps you up to date with the rest of the community. It's imperative, look at that word choice, imperative fam, that we stay on the same page, so you must smash the notification bell for the channel and hit the like button so you don't miss out next time. Moving on to chapter 306, there is a lot to talk about with the parallels of Asta Asta, his possible death, as well as Zenon's backstory and his devil. Chapter 306 begins with Yuno firing off a hole in Zenon's chest, as we knew that would happen because Yuno is God's gift to man. He's obviously just the greatest at everything. As much boasting as the Dark Triad may do about how much better they are than everybody else, they themselves are weak without their devils. Chapter 306 expertly showcases this irony with the hole through Zenon's body, which represents the hollowness which he had behind the mask of superiority after losing his friend in this chapter. The defense of his bone magic, which he had so much confidence in, is shattered by Yuno's arrow, and this all relates to his backstory. We see a younger Zenon. He's all beat up, where Dante and Varnica think he's pathetic because of it. Shortly after, his older brother encourages him, saying he's more like him, having more talent for devil possession than his other siblings. This makes sense because, at least to me, Zenon always came across like he was more powerful than Dante or Varnica. Think about it. Dante, at 80% devil power and using his body magic on top of that, was defeated by the man I sent for, Yami, as well as Asta. Varnica would have died had it not been for Medjugorje. Noel hit her at point blank even before the training with the elves. And later, because Medjugorje was awakened, it didn't end up mattering one bit, and she had to use 70% of her power. Zenon, on the other hand, at 55% of his power, essentially wiped out the entire Golden Dawn and conquered the Diamond Kingdom within a few days. Had he not spared William Vengeance—
Who?
Oh, William Vengeance, come on guys, we have to remember this dude too, the guy that's destined to die this arc.
Who?
Had he not spared William Vengeance, they all would have died. Not to mention that it's the Golden Dawn we're talking about here. They're supposed to be the strongest Magic Knight squad in the entire Clover Kingdom. Anyway, sometime later in the flashback, Zenon's already in another fight because some of the kids of the Mage Defense Force soldiers start beating him up for the sole reason that he got some bones sticking out of his body, and it's his duty to get rid of Zenon because of the superiority they feel towards someone different. Suddenly, a large flame appears in between him and Zenon. The source is another kid named Alan. Oh my god. Alan, what am I doing? I can't pronounce this shit! I'm getting pissed!
You stupid.
The source is another kid named Alan, who has come to Zenon's aid, and apparently the other kids know him because they run away instantly. Alan introduces himself and compliments Zenon's magic. They start walking together, and Alan starts talking about how anxious everyone is in the Spade Kingdom, how the kingdom is always closed off by snow, and there's frequent civil wars, and the Diamond Kingdom keeps invading them, which makes sense as we've seen them try to invade other countries, and we know that's how they are since they need resources based on how their culture and economy work. Alan says that he wants to become stronger enough to protect his people so they don't have to be afraid. He wants to be the one to light the fire of hope in their snowy frozen country, and to do that he wants to become the commanding officer of the Mage Defense Force. Zenon feels inspired, where he also says he wants to do the same thing, and of course they become rivals in the end.
Of course!
Now, I don't even need to explain this to you. You're all pretty smart because, I mean, you subscribe to this channel. Essentially, Alan and Zenon's rivalry is an exact parallel to Asta and Yuno and how they vowed to be the Wizard King. We can see the parallels from their shared circumstances to even the appearance of both set of characters. Zenon looks just like Yuno and is in the exact same position, being the one who was rescued, being talented but scared, whilst Alan looks similar to Asta and is in the exact same position here, being the one who rescued Zenon and who also has a selfless dream of becoming something great so that he can make life better for those he cares about, and both sets of characters are not treated equally or nice by society. And by Zenon seeing Alan being so powerful and have such a noble goal makes him want to be the same way, so he says that he'll also become the commanding officer of the defense force, knowing that it would put him in competition with Alan. But the parallels don't end there.
But wait! There's more! Hang on to your seat, baby!
Alan has a sword with his fire magic, just like Asta, and Zenon is blessed with a powerful grimoire in the ceremony just like Yuno. We get a tiny montage of Zenon's journey of working towards his goal, training his magic, fighting with Alan, where eventually as time passes and his dream changes for the better, he tells his older brother he isn't interested in becoming a devil host. All that work and progression resulted in the both of them becoming closer to achieving their dreams, as they both were allowed into the 4th division of the defense force, which I suppose is the equivalent of Magic Knights in the Spade Kingdom. All the recruits there were recognized as the battle ready forces, but Zenon was specifically called out and declared a genius by the commanding officer there. This is once again just like Asta and Yuno, as Asta was able to get into the Magic Knights, sure, but Yuno had every captain raise their hands for him, giving him the freedom to choose his squad as he pleased. And again, because he was seen as a genius, any one of them would have loved to have him. Alan is part of the team, but he isn't seen as anyone overly remarkable, and yet he isn't fazed by any of that, as he still seemed determined, just like Asta. Anyway, soon after becoming recruits, they're given a mission to investigate a dungeon that appeared not too far away. Alan and Zenon went in with the typical mindset we'd expect from them. Alan is fired up and ready to stack that merit, while Zenon is more calm and collected, only focusing on the mission. But it's here that things get a little out of hand. So they go to the dungeon, right? But what they see when they get there isn't at all what they expected. And this is where Tabata makes it clear how grim the world of Black Clover can be. When Asta and Yuno went to their first dungeon, they ran into some traps, a little plant monster, and Mars from the Diamond Kingdom, a huge opponent for them at the time. This again parallels Zenon and Alan, as they also see something unexpected and not part of the mission: a devil who is medium ranked. Everyone is surprised that a devil has appeared, stating that it's impossible, which leads me to believe that Zenon's older brother in the wheelchair must be the one that planted it there for his friends to die. Zenon's older brother knows for a fact that at a young age his little brother had more talent of devil possession than Dante and Varnica, and since Zenon defied him by declaring not to go down their dark path and follow the devil tradition, he would force his hand to put him into despair to make him come back to their ideology and way of life. I believe Zenon's older brother had the information of the dungeon and placed the devil there for his own brother to fall into despair. Zenon comes to the conclusion that he has to use the strongest spell he knows to have a chance to defeat a demon, but he also knows that he'll never get a chance to hit it. Suddenly, Alan jumps in with a long sword he made with his fire magic, determined to make it out of this place alive. He goes face to face with the devil, and Zenon tries to tell him, no, don't do that. But then even he himself realizes that this is the only chance they have. With the devil staying in one spot, Zenon can land his attack and defeat this thing once and for all. But Alan would have to go down with the devil, therefore sacrificing his life. Alan knew he would die doing this, but chose to do so to protect the kingdom and his best friends. Zenon realizes that if he doesn't kill them both now, everyone else would die as well, including him, and the devil would then escape to make its way to the nearest town at the very least, and it would kill many innocent people, which he promised since childhood with Alan that they would protect. It was at this moment Zenon was faced with a choice: either let the devil kill his best friend and then countless other lives, or kill them both and have the fight end there. Zenon had to have the mental and emotional fortitude to kill his own best friend in order to save the kingdom. Protecting your people isn't always as easy if you're not the main protagonist of a shonen like my boy Asta. Zenon cries relentlessly as he kills the devil and his friend. This whole experience convinced Zenon of the idea that without strength, feelings and persistence are meaningless, and the weak should be culled. Now, an interesting thing we must know is that all the characters linked to the concept of light and the side of good end up dying. This is a great point that got me thinking by QB the King 2 on Twitter. Tabata has introduced Licht, for example, which means light in German. He died due to his best friend having to kill him after turning into a demon god. We then see Morgen, which also means morning in German, which relates back to the rising sun. As Nacht put it, he was so dazzling he couldn't even look at him like the sun. Morgen died to his brother after he was surrounded by devil activity as well. We then have Alan, which means harmony, again an attribute linked with good and wanting to create harmony in the entire kingdom. However, he had to die by Zenon's hand. And now we have Asta, which means star, again linking to the light. Julius Novachrono predicted that Asta will die at the end of this arc, which means Yuno might be put in a position similar to the others where he might have to kill him or let him go in some sort of way to save everyone else from the impending doom that Lucifer will bring. So with all that has happened, Zenon turns to his older brother and takes back what he said earlier, instead asking him to go ahead and make him a devil host. Coming back to present time, he calls upon his devil Belzebub and asks him to make a deal. So obviously this is something we predicted as a community. I don't know how many months it's been, but none of us are shocked with this reveal, but it's amazing to see in fruition. So it's obvious what Zenon is doing. He's making a deal with his devil just like Asta did with Lee. We will see what happens next week. I promise you that I will go into complete detail reading the devil books once again for you guys, where I will explain everything that we know about Belzebub. How does he link with the Kabbalah, the Cliff of Tree, why did Tabata specifically pick this design, why is this magic linked to Zenon, all the metaphors and parallels and symbolism behind what this means. I will do all that stuff next week, so be sure to hit the notification bell and I'll see you guys next time.